Alright guys, so starting off with this Dollar Tree sign, we're going to start off by removing the paper off the board, and I am going in with this spatula, peeling off a little bit on the edge, just enough to give me some wiggle room to start pushing in more of the spatula, and that way it can start lifting off the paper. Do not throw the little metal part once you remove the paper from your board, because we will need that again. Once we have removed the paper, I am going in with these 3 paint, mixing these together to get the color that I desire. You might have to do a couple coats to get it fully covered. So once the board has dried, I'm going in and drawing where I want my little icing effect. I ended up using 3 colors for my letters. If you are interested in the colors that I did choose, I will link them down in the description. So now I'm going in and I'm sticking them on the board. Make sure they are not lopsided. So once you have them placed on your board and you are satisfied, I actually went in with a Sharpie and started designing a little candy cane effect on my letters, just so the light pink could pop even more. At the end, I ended up also painting a white shadow behind the light pink letters only. Well, on all of them. Not only the light pinks, my bad. It was on all the letters to make them even pop more, because I still wasn't satisfied with the candy cane effect. Alright, once you have finished applying your vinyl and you have finished coloring your letters and everything, at the end I ended up just applying Mud Podge to my final project so everything could stay in place. And that is it, guys. Alright, so starting off, we are using these Dollar Tree nutcrackers, and you want to make sure that you pick up the same exact ones with the same hat. I ended up picking up one that was different and I didn't even realize it until I got home. So just be careful and keep that in mind when you are buying these nutcrackers. They all come in different styles, so just keep that in mind. So moving on, and I am removing the hair from these nutcrackers. I think it just looks way better without the hair. I ended up going with these pink tones, and this is the order that I will be painting them, from lightest to darkest. The color paint Delta brand, that is from Target. The rest are from Walmart. And I will say this from experience, it is best to spray paint them first with a white base and then go ahead and coat them with your painting of choice, because as you can see here, it took me several coats to get them to a full coverage, and not even then, I feel like they still needed several more coats. And once I had my nutcrackers all finished, this is how they turned out. I love how these ended up turning out. I just wanted to keep them nice and simple, but that was pretty much it for this DIY, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Starting off using this yarn from Dollar Tree and these candy canes. So starting off, I am removing the tinsel off the candy canes. Once I have removed the tinsel from the candy canes, I am going to cut them in half to have 2 pieces. And once you cut them in half, there will be a gap in one of them, but that's okay because we're gonna go ahead and cover it. And anyways, once you start wrapping the yarn around it, you can make it as thick as you want. You also want to go in and remove the hooks to make it easier, because the hooks will show and pop through if you don't. I also went in and hot glued it just so it could be more secure. Optional, you don't have to. Anyways, you are gonna wrap it as tight as you can, so it's not really gonna matter. But moving on, so once you have glued it, I'm going in and I'm starting to wrap it with my yarn. You want to start by getting the yarn and gluing it to the center of the candy cane, bringing it up, and then wrapping it. That way it will stay secure and won't unwind once you start wrapping it, because it will be nice and tight and snugged in there. So when I reached the end of the candy cane, I looped it a couple times and then hot glued it. Or you can just leave it as is, hot glue it, and then keep on wrapping it. It won't really make a difference, but I just found it easier for me to cut it off and proceed wrapping it. Once I was finally done wrapping the candy cane all around, I went in with this white yarn as well from Dollartree, and the white yarn I did in sections. As you can see here, I'm doing it piece by piece or section by section, and then cutting it off and proceeding to do the other section. Now I didn't know if I wanted to leave it plain or add some embellishments, so I left it alone and I came back to it eventually. But moving on to the other candy cane, this one I wrapped using as well the Dollartree ribbon, and I wanted to keep it simple as well, so I ended up using the back of the ribbon without the design. So for this one, you want to start by wrapping it, and you don't even have to cut it off. We can do it in one whole piece. Just wrap it until you get to the end and hot glue it. Once you get to the end of wrapping the candy cane, you want to burn the end of the ribbon so it doesn't unwind. And that is it for this candy cane. You can also use pipe cleaners if you do not have ribbon in hand. Just be aware it will look more bulky. But now moving on to the other candy cane that I told you guys, I still didn't know whether to keep it simple or add embellishments. I did end up adding this fern stem, and I went in with some tutu, some pink tutu, and did a little cute bow. I didn't measure how much tulle I got. I just ended up eyeballing it to my liking. And as you can see here, I hot glued the little stem. And I went in with some Dollartree styrofoam balls that came in the pack of white and I believe red, and just hot glued everything together. Such a simple and easy DIY you can do with your kids as well. This is how they turned out. But anyways guys, that is it for this DIY. I hope you like it. So starting off, I am using this tinsel tree from Dollartree, and I will be removing the tinsel, leaving the tree plain, and going in with this pink yarn. I purchased this yarn at Dollartree. So I just went ahead and hot glued the top. I started from the top to the bottom, and I just ended up hot gluing the top and wrapping it. As I was wrapping it, I was applying hot glue. You don't really have to, as long as you make it pretty tight once you're wrapping it. You don't want to wrap it so tight, but you don't want it to be loose either. So in between, because I will be wrapping it one more time to get it fluffy and at the form of the Christmas tree, because as you can see here, it's not looking really like a Christmas tree. Once I have finished wrapping my tree, I'm just gonna hot glue the top and I am going in with these beads that I found at Walmart, since I did want some pink beads and some white ones, so these were perfect. But keep in mind guys, you can always switch the theme or the colors of the yarn and the beads to your liking. The possibilities are endless guys. So anyways, back to the tree. I just ended up hot gluing the pearls and placing them to my liking. And when I was done guys, this was the finished result. I had so much fun recreating this DIY, and I hope you guys do too. And if you do end up recreating it, don't forget to tag me on my social media and to give this video a thumbs up guys. That way I know you are enjoying my videos. But anyhow, stay tuned for more DIYs. I'll see you next time. Bye.